Let's go to Byron York, the Washington Examiner chief political correspondent. Of course, Fox contributor, much more. Byron, where do you think this is going?
Well, it's going nowhere right now. When Senator Schumer says they're far apart on priorities and scale, that's pretty much everything. I mean, they haven't agreed to anything. Now, both sides do agree that you need to continue these enhanced unemployment benefits. Republicans think the $600 is too much. I think some Democrats have said it doesn't have to be $600. It could be less than that. But when somebody threw out the number $200, that didn't work. So this actually sounds like it's something that actually can be negotiated through a classic Capitol Hill process. I mean, if $600 is too high and $200 is too low, I don't know, $400, there's a way to come to an answer on this one.
You know, of all people to have come up with maybe a middle ground early on was Mitt Romney when he said, all right, well, how about we reduce it by $200, review it every 30 days. I don't believe, you probably know this better than I do, Byron, that there was a peg to that, whether it followed the unemployment rate, something that Nancy Pelosi was talking about, but that it would be sort of a structured wind down. How likely is that?
Well, that's one possibility, is to make it much more complicated and dependent on various circumstances. But here again, if you look at this whole thing, this is really kind of a classic Washington standoff. The budget, the deadline is approaching. In this case, it's actually passed. Something desperately needs to be done. A budget needs to be passed, or in this case, unemployment benefits need to be extended. And Democrats just want to spend zillions and zillions of dollars, and Republicans want to spend a little bit less, and they're arguing over that. And when Nancy Pelosi says she does not expect a deal this week, I would believe her. After all, she's in charge of the House side of this. And so this could go on for quite a while, as standoffs over budgets have gone on in the past.
You know, the president has threatened just taking unilateral action on his own through executive order or what have you. Do you know what that action might be?
No, everybody's a little confused about that. First of all, there's several different issues here. One, there is the enhanced unemployment that we're talking about. But two, there's the $1 trillion that Democrats want to spend for state and local governments. There's something to do on the issue of evictions, to extend essentially a moratorium on evictions from people who've been put out of their jobs by coronavirus policies. So there's a lot in there. It doesn't seem to me that the president can do a lot in terms of the money that's being spent. That's a congressional thing. Is there something he could do on evictions? Possibly so. Unclear whether it would be something that would be opposed by both parties or supported by Republicans. I don't know. But the fact is, the president's hands are pretty narrowly tied here.
Got it. Byron York, thank you very much. Byron of the Washington Examiner.